If you want to succeed as an enterprise architect, if you want to succeed as a cloud architect or any other kind of architect, you cannot afford to worry about losing your engineering skills. Here's a question I hear all the time from engineers moving into cloud architect roles and enterprise architect roles. They say, Mike, if I stop being hands-on, won't I lose my engineering skills? And here's my answer, plain and simple. If you want to succeed as an enterprise architect, if you want to succeed as a cloud architect or any other kind of architect, you cannot afford to worry about losing your engineering skills. Because you're in a new role. And you can't build an architecture career by focusing on the skills of your last job. They're not going to get you to where you need to be. So to succeed in an architecture role, it's not about proving that you can code, because we don't do that in our roles. It's about constantly improving your architect skills. Architecture is a different job, just like a physician is a different job than an airplane pilot. It's a new lane. It's a new scoreboard. It's a new expectations of what you deliver as an architect than what you did as an engineer. And what happens, I see it all the time. Someone that moves from, say, a cloud engineer to a cloud architect role, they try to maintain their hands-on skills. They try to balance that with their actual architecture skills, and the results are fairly predictable. They don't develop as an architect. 5 years, 10 years later, they're still in that same entry-level architecture role, if they're still working in an architect role at all. So I want you to grow fast as an architect, and you don't do that by splitting your time or by splitting your focus into skills that just no longer serve you because they're no longer your job. So when we talk about what gets you promoted as a cloud architect, how do you get promoted from a solutions architect into an enterprise architect role, or a solutions architect into a bigger role like a multi-cloud architect role? What happens? It's not because the code you wrote, because we don't write code in our job. The promotions happen based upon the impact you actually delivered to the business. And an impact in architecture is driven by your ability as an architect to shape strategy, your ability as an architect to align technology needs to business outcomes, your ability to simplify complexity, your ability to make decisions based upon trade-offs and then defend your trade-offs and why you made the decisions that you did. Your ability as a cloud architect or an enterprise architect is based upon your ability to influence executives and your ability to set directions across teams, not just in a single team. Now, when you think about that, it's a completely different job than what you had in the past. And that's why it's going to demand a completely different set of skills in most cases. So when you had your engineering skills, they were built for execution, building things. And I'm sure you did a really great job of that. And that's wonderful. But now your architecture skills are based upon making decisions. So when engineering would ask, how do we build this? We architects think, should we build this at all? And if we do, what's the best approach considering, say, cost, complexity, risk, security, and the amount of time it'll take and the people we have in accordance with our business priorities? It's a completely different focus. So it's a different role. And that's why you can't afford to worry about losing your engineering skills. Because if you worry about losing your engineering skills, you're basically saying, I won't be investing in my future skills. So I'll give you 2 examples. Now, let's say we have someone that was working as a nurse. Nurses are wonderful. They save lives. And the nurse decides to go to medical school and become a physician. I promise you, the nurse in that medical role does not go back and say, let me go work as a nurse 1 day a week because I don't want to lose my nursing skills. Why? Because nursing skills are no longer applicable to the medical role. They're different. They're all about valuable. They're probably equally important, but it's a different role. So they focus on it. Now, let's say we have a housekeeper that becomes the general manager of a hotel. I promise you that hotel general manager is not going to obsess over how good they were at cleaning rooms. Instead, that general manager will be focusing on business operations, guest experience, staffing and leadership, budgeting, quality standards, and growth of the hotel. Because the general manager is defined by the success of the whole system, not how well they can perform on tasks. Same as enterprise architecture. When we're cloud architects, when we're enterprise architects, we're not being paid for those hands-on things anymore. We're being paid on the impact we can actually make. Now, I constantly hear people saying this, but Mike, what if I'm not hands-on? I'll lose technical credibility. Well, here's the thing. You are there for your business ability as an architect, as a strategist, and your technical knowledge. Now, you will still have technical knowledge, the foundations of how the systems work, and you need technical literacy. Absolutely. But the technical literacy we need as architects is, how does the underlying technology work? How does the underlying technology fit together? What are the trade-offs of one technology versus another technology? Where does the technology break? Where does it scale? And in many cases, many engineers don't get to work on this anyway because they're focused on building. So it is a different set of technical literacy as well in many cases. But yes, you do need to understand those technical complexities, absolutely, and you need to be able to ask the right questions, but your focus is not on that tech stuff. You don't need to be the best engineer in the room at all, because you're not an engineer anymore. So your credibility from, say, as an enterprise architect role is based upon the quality of your decisions, the clarity of your communication, your ability to connect the technology to something that in some way will either enhance revenue or reduce risk or enhance business outcomes. And it's your ability to align teams. And that's really the role. So engineering gets you deep into the tech conversations, but architecture is what keeps you at the table, and it moves you forward to the head of the table. So if you're serious about your enterprise architect career or your cloud architect career or even a security architect career, focus your growth on where it counts. Practice turning vague business goals into clear technical direction. Learn to speak an executive language: cost, risk, ROI, time to value. Improve your ability to manage stakeholders and influence others. Get better at communicating an architectural narrative that people can actually understand and how the architecture will impact the business, and strengthen your ability to create alignment across security, data, platform, product teams, and executive teams. And then you're a great architect, because that's how you create impact as an architect, and our architecture impact is what creates the motion. So here's the way I see it. Enjoy the progress you made in your career as an engineer. Respect it. Be proud of yourself. It was a great job. And you had an opportunity to learn a lot of new things. But let go of what no longer serves you, because you're now in a new role. And focus on your new role. Grow it and reach even bigger goals. That's what I generally recommend, and we move into architecture roles. If you'd like some guidance on leveling up as an enterprise architect, or a cloud architect, or a security architect, or an AI architect, we have a free weekly webinar that twice a week. Usually we run these architecture webinars where we talk about what we do in these architectural roles, the skills that you need in various roles, like a cloud architect or a security architect or an enterprise architect. We'll talk about how to get hired as an architect in those free webinars that we do, which are in the description of this video. You can register at. We'll be live on Zoom, so you can ask me any kind of architecture career question you want. I hope you register for some of these free architecture webinars. The link is in the description of this video. Also in the description of this video are so many guides on how to, say, become a cloud architect, or how to become an artificial intelligence architect, or how to be more successful on your next tech interview. So maybe check them out, register for some, and they'll be emailed to you. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell to be notified of new videos to assist you in your architecture career. This is Mike Gibbs signing off for now. I'll see you hopefully in an architecture webinar or another architecture video. Take care.